Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Side Quests. My name is Matt Sowinski. I am a writer and a content creator. You can find my stuff over on consolecreatures.com along with butwhythough.com. You can also find my PlayStation podcast over at Console Creatures. We host a weekly PlayStation podcast called PlayStation Generation with my two very good friends, Court and Rice. Talk about all things PlayStation, all the news, all the theories, the predictions, and all that good stuff. So if you're looking for a new PlayStation podcast, we've only been around for a few months. Come check us out over at PlayStation Generation. You can find us on the Console Creatures YouTube channel or on your podcast service of choice. Now, I've done side quests before. I've talked about Mega Man Battle Network 3, and I feel like I've done another one, but it is escaping my mind right now. But this time, here to talk about a franchise that has become one of my absolute favorites over the last little while, and that is Like a Dragon, formerly known as Yakuza. I'll be focusing in on Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth today. I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as I can, but just to give you a bit of a heads up, I came into Yakuza probably pretty late, but I think alongside a lot of other people with Yakuza 0, I kept hearing about how fantastic it was. I kept hearing about, this is just a game that needs to be played. So I knew I had to. I picked it up, got it for either Christmas or for my birthday as a gift from my lovely wife, and from the first few minutes, I completely fell in love. The world, Kamurocho, being able to go and see it in person in Japan was just such a really cool experience. The incredible balance between just lighthearted, ridiculous side content with like melodramatic and serious, but also incredibly heartfelt main story content just grabbed me entirely, and then it was off to the races. Played through Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 6, Like a Dragon, which was the 7th one, Infinite Wealth, which is the 8th, and a lot of the side stuff in between. The 5th one is the only like main series entry I haven't yet played, and that's just because I'm trying to save it for a rainy day. I'm not ready to say goodbye to the series as it is, because as many people know, coming into Like a Dragon 7, Yakuza Like a Dragon, they completely switched what that game was, while inherently also keeping its DNA. They initially revealed it on April Fools, and they're like, haha, Yakuza, known for its action combat, is going turn-based, and everybody's like, that's actually a really funny and very highly produced joke. I can't believe it. And then later unveiled it to be the next main entry. Kazuma Kiryu, our mainstay protagonist over the course of the 6 games leading up to that, had his swan song in the 6th one that was supposed to be the finale, and we joined Ichiban in the 7th, a new protagonist, and 7 became one of my favorite games of all time. Ichiban was a protagonist that was immediately likable, wore his heart on his sleeve, just genuinely believed in the good of everybody and everything around him, and was always out to just try to do his best. A stark contrast to Kazuma Kiryu, who was a warm-hearted and incredible individual, but also much more stoic, much more, really didn't wear his heart on his sleeve, was much calmer in a lot of situations. Ichiban is just off the wall, bouncing around like there's no tomorrow. And that's what I fell in love with him. And coming into Infinite Wealth, the 8th one, we had both of these protagonists brought together for really the first time. We got to catch up with Kiryu in the installment, basically 7.5, Like a Dragon, the man who sold his own name. I can't forget, it's a long name. But we got to catch up with him a little bit leading up to where his position was coming into 8. And we basically had half of the game taking place through Ichiban's perspective, and then the other half taking place through Kiryu's, obviously the coming together and coming apart as they needed to. But having this kind of celebration of what everything Yakuza and Like a Dragon is and was, still keeping the huge, ridiculous, melodramatic story, taking us to Hawaii, the first time that we've been outside of Japan in one of these games, as a mainstay location, and just being able to wander around the world, see how beautiful it was, see the perspective of both of these protagonists, how they bounce off each other, and for very, very let's kind of set up story spoilers, but Ichiban is basically out to find his mom. He does not know what happened to her, hasn't ever really met her. So he's out to find her, and last he's heard that he was in Hawaii. Kiryu finds out that he's battling a possibly life-ending illness. He's kind of ready to give up, throw in the towel, do what little good he can do before his life is taken from him. And to find him, this man who up until this point seemed invincible, seemed like he could conquer everything. He's fought literal hundreds of people at a time and bashed his head through walls, taken out everything, anything that anyone threw at him, Kiryu was able to get through. And now to him going up against such a very human disease and such a very human illness was really interesting. And like his side of the game, especially the back half, focusing on his bucket list. He's been, just a yakuza. He's lived his entire life for other people. And now in his final moments, what does he want? What is he looking for? Who is Kazuma Kiryu? And it's such a beautiful analysis on that character, bringing in, like, through some of his special attacks, the classic Yakuza, like a dragon, biting combat with the action combat in his special moves was just really cool. Everything about it just constantly pulls at your heartstrings. And obviously the investment here for folks who have come across a lot of the games before it is massive. The payoff is huge. There's so much here that they dig into when you didn't really ever expect to see Kiryu, at least not in a protagonist mainstay role, again after 6, and to have him come back and work alongside Ichiban. And this really felt like the passing of the torch. This was them working together, acknowledging each other. Kiryu seeing Ichiban for how special he is, for the effect that he has on bringing out the good in people and being able to believe and lift up everyone around him. Kiryu being this stalwart, just completely like statue of a person in the best way. He's confident, he's dependable. Everybody knows that they can go to Kiryu, and Ichiban seeing, helping him understand who he is and vice versa. It is just a beautiful, beautiful story on top of some of the best turn-based combat out there. Ichiban's, ability to see enemies basically warp into Pokemon-esque creatures, dressed with ridiculous fashion and special moves is just great. It works, and Kiryu gets that ability. For whatever reason, he's just kind of like, oh, I can see what he was talking about now. It's special. It's funny. It's weird. The side content is a mix of glorious and ridiculousness. I actually wrote kind of a bit of a long form article about one of the side content missions over on But Why Though, so make sure you go check it out if you're interested. But basically takes a look at one of the side quests where one of the more ridiculous characters from the series, Gondawara, who's this big muscly dude who just likes to be in diapers, how he comes back and plays into a side quest of a man who's you first meet him as he's going from ice cream shop to ice cream shop, taking any ice that he can find and throwing it up in the air and just letting it land on him. Obviously a ridiculous setup, but as you dig in, you learn that his wife is incredibly sick. They went to Japan together in their younger years. They saw the snowfall, and he was trying to recreate this beautiful moment of snow falling before she passes. And he's going around getting banned from shops because he's wasting, all of the ice cream, the slush, and they kind of come together in some really funny ways to basically recreate snow falling for his sick spouse. And it's gorgeous, and it's in that moment where you're basically either you're about to cry or you are crying, seeing this old man and his wife reconcile the issues that they've had, and her forgiving him and basically telling him, hey, I've always been on your side. And cut to them on the roof, a bunch of grown men in diapers basically huffing stuff off the roof to create snow. It's ridiculous, but it's also heartfelt, and it's beautiful. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is just a massive, massive triumph. It's messy, it doesn't land everything, but it sets out to tell a dual protagonist story with two incredibly lovable characters and the cast that surrounds them, and it nails that. On top of having like a whole Animal Crossing mode on the side of it, there's so much to love in this game, and it's one of those things that just needs to be experienced. If anybody hasn't played it and is curious, I would recommend starting with Like a Dragon, Yakuza Like a Dragon, the 7th one, just because you really get to know at least this new cast of characters before you kind of dive in to see what Infinite Wealth really is. If you're curious about the retro stuff, go with Yakuza 0. It's on sale all the time, and it's just really good. It just nails everything about what it is. So please go check out Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Go check out this entire series. It is pretty much all of it is available on any console that you can go looking for it on. It's just super, super sweet. And of course, the people here at Fun and Games, an incredible group of people, continue to support. You can find me over on Twitter at Matt_SilverSoul, and you can find me at consolecreatures.com and But Why Though. Thank you again for all the support, and happy gaming.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, talking about Superman.
Oh, cool. I could talk about Superman.
I could talk some more about Superman.
We know.
I'll bet a few people would want to get in on this.
I'm down.
You know it.
That sounds like fun. I'll do it.
Cool, let's do it. We can call the show Men of Steel.
And you can find it at certainpov.com.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yay.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.